not entitle her to much of what remained when nearly everything had gone. So she cried and cried, read articles in glossy magazines about the downturn being an opportunity to stop shopping and rediscover the real meaning of life. They did not help at all. Surely they had spent 20 years being told that greed is good. Consumerism helps society. No more boom and bust. And then she cried some more. Her Aunt Eva arrived at 10 one morning and found her sobbing over the boys' crested school uniforms. She couldn't bear to remember the scene that ensued. Suffice to say that she did not consider it to have been appropriately sympathetic. She had brandished a file of yellowing articles from said glossy magazines, saying how it was her right to stay at home when her children were small, and a piece from the Saturday Guardian about how children that go to daycare from an early age are more likely to turn into delinquents and drug addicts, setting fire to wheelie bins and inhaling the fumes. Then she was angry. The anger fueled a burst of activity that got them to New York in the fall. Every day, she dragged the two boys aimlessly around the neighborhood, always ending up in the new playground in Tompkins Square Park, ignoring the rats frolicking like rabbits and the homeless alcoholics vomiting into black plastic rubbish sacks. One morning, as they crossed a flower bed to avoid two ambulance men removing another ragged, comatose body from a bench, music erupted from a tiny storefront on Avenue A. An elderly Mexican laborer, one of a group she saw most mornings on the pavement waiting for work, simply stood up and danced. He held his body quite upright, moving to the rhythm with absolute control. And then, to her amazement, he held out an imperious hand to a beautiful young girl, from her stork-like proportions and huge eyes, obviously one of the models who descended on the area like designer locusts. The girl gave a slight, coy bow of her head and then put her perfect hand in his, just like Beauty when she saw the true nature of the beast for the first time at the foot of his grand staircase. They waltzed. Passers-by stopped. Touched by joy, they laughed and clapped in time. Max and Robbie giggled and bounced up and down. But she froze, her throat constricted. The sudden emotion so shocking, she was able to observe it, exactly as if she had cut herself with a piece of broken glass, and there were a few milliseconds before blood spurted out. Tears spilling out of her eyes, she had to hurry away round a corner, where they almost collided with a woman with a live snake around her neck, and the boys giggled and bounced up and down again. Really, sometimes she thought it was impossible to walk down a street without seeing something that aroused such a primal response in her, although, even as she blamed the city, she feared that this sort of over-emotionalism might be the start of menopause, a horrific condition, according to Aunt Eva, involving sagging and shriveling and, believe it or not, crispiness. Though that word had not been said, merely mouthed. That night she couldn't sleep. It was then she realized she had swallowed her last Ambien on the flight over. She told the story of the dancing, without the tears or the crispiness fears, at Sunday lunch in a 3-bedroom duplex in a Dorman building opposite the park, after which his new boss, Jerry, and Jerry's current wife told them how much they missed living downtown. With a meaningful glance between them, they agreed on the deficiencies of the Upper East Side. "It's so sanitized," they moaned. Jerry, and Jerry's current wife, remembered a time when Philip Glass used to fix kitchen appliances and Patti Smith wandered down St. Mark's Place singing to herself. She nodded in sympathy, but she had realized on previous trips to the city that the epithet sanitized, used in conjunction with the location of real estate, was code among a certain, invariably wealthy, type of New Yorker to indicate their mixed feelings about selling out. For her, it was simply the effects of regular garbage collection. Later that day, on the 6 train heading home, she looked at him and remarked on this. He burst out laughing. She laughed too. The boys looked at them strangely. Their parents laughing together.